button here. It says that we are. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday, December the 4th, 2025, to where in which we are marking that 52 years ago on this day in 1973, I showed up. Been here ever since. Where you been? Oh my goodness gracious, everybody. Yeah, the birthday special, right? Do I make a big deal out of my birthday? No. Does Alicia and Caitlin and my wonderful in-laws? Yes. And I am going to totally roll with the punches with it because it's fun and it's appreciated. And to everyone out there who is doing the Facebook thing with the happy birthdays, thank you all in advance. And I'll try to get back through that as we go. But here we are. Again, it's a Thursday. The week's almost over, first week of December. A little bit of snow sputtered out. I do believe my good buddy Brandon DeRulli over at Stormtrack 360 is actually encouraging you to share some photos with him and all the Stormtrack 360 crew. If you see any sputters out there, I played along. You should too. And it's my birthday and I took the time. So what kind of a fool is you? Oh my gosh. Such a clever man. But in all seriousness, how is everybody today? We're getting just closer and closer to Christmas. It's almost here. And why do I mention that today? Because if you're like I and you're a December birthday type, you remember well, definitely back in the day, it was like, it was always that how December birthdays and Christmas kind of always got a little bit meshed together. Now, Caitlin's birthday is the 21st. So if this was like, if she was born in 73, boy, talk about a sucky time right there. Let alone the ones who are born on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. But we've always kept it super separate. We have always been a point about that. And if you're a December birthday or celebrate someone's birthday in December and you try to do that kind of condensing thing, stop it. And if it is your birthday, anytime. Oh, it's so funny. I kind of played with it a little bit this morning more than I normally do. Because again, I don't normally get into the birthday myself. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I like to think about that solar cycle, and what all's happened in the past 12 months from where we were to where we are. And yeah, celebrate you. It's okay to celebrate you. You are the you that will always be with you, even though you may have made some changes along the way. And actually, in today's reading from my book, we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to do like an old radio gimmick-ish for 1973 and the highlights of said year. I have got to flip that camera to where, or move my monitor to where you can see it. Anyway, I had my robot put together a time capsule to see what it was like 52 years ago when I opened my eyeball for the first time and took in the solar rays that were being emitted without the effects of the chemtrail domes upon us. Oh my God, he said it? Yeah, shut up. I've been here for 52 years. I can do what I want. That's half a century plus two, man. I've made some progress. Let's see what happened here in 1973, 52 years ago today. Major historical and political events. Richard Nixon, remember him, begins his second term as U.S. president. That's handy. The Paris Peace Accords are signed. Oh, that kind of went away now. Formally ending U.S. ground troop involvement in the Vietnam War, though the conflict of Vietnam continued. But Nixon straightened that out. Let's see what else. The major shift in social policy, Roe versus Wade, came about in 1973. That too has changed. Let's see here. The 1973 oil crisis begins after oil producing Arab nations impose an embargo in response to the Yom Kippur War, sparking fuel outrages or fuel shortages, which led to outrages. There's some crazy stories there. And eventually reshaping global energy politics and economics. Yes, it was called the petrodollar that we still live under today. Remember that? Well, now you do. The U.S. passes the Endangered Species Act, a landmark environmental conservation law. That one's still in play. And the oil crisis is a little different now, but have you been to the pumps lately? I'm sure you have. Sucks. Science, space, and global dynamics. This is how it was in 1973. The U.S. launches Skylab, the nation's first space station. Whoa. Whoa. And broad global change in 1973 reflects a world in transition. I take credit. Politically, socially, and economically, with rising environmental awareness, geopolitical shakeups, and new social freedoms. Well, that's interesting. So, Skylab. Wow, that's been around. Is it? Didn't it fall out of the sky? I can't remember. But anyway, but okay, so we went from Skylab to Starlink now in 52 years. Wow. Cultural, social life, and pop culture vibes. What was happening in 1973? The early 1970s vibe, shifting social norms, rising interest in environmentalism, evolving media and entertainment. We'll break that down a little bit more because I think that's going to be an interesting reveal. Everyday life looked very different, so they say. Prices, lifestyles, and popular taste reflect a simpler era for perspective. So they say. That's what the robot says. Anyway, okay, now let's look at the legacy of 1973. Let's see here. Why 1973 still matters. Well, I'm still here. Thank you very much. The events of 1973 left long shadows. The end of war shift in Vietnam, the war shift of Vietnam, major changes in U.S. social policy and civil liberties, first global oil shock, surge in environmental and conservation awareness, and early space age milestones. Now, that combination helped shape the late 20th century and early 21st century world, socially, politically, economically, and culturally. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this. It's saying that it can build me a 50 item. Let's just say, do it. That's how you prompt. Just talk to the damn thing. But we're going to see what the 50 items that the robot pulls up from 1973. And as that list populates, which is moving pretty quick, don't think for a second that it's not. Anyways, that's interesting, though, to kind of look back and reflect on what's happened from since the day you showed up on this rock to where you are now. And it doesn't matter if you're 52 or 51 or 5 or 105. It's kind of cool because I love the fact that we live at a time where a lot of our history is recorded, documented, and not just on stone tablets and papyrus rolls. Um, we've got video, we've got audio recordings, we can truly time travel through the decades now and really see firsthand accounts from a certain point of view from a lot of different, now we call them historical events. And I find that stuff fascinating. So if you enjoy it too, you're going to enjoy the rest of this morning's endeavor because we're going to kind of play with that. Otherwise, get out of here, loser. No, I'm only playing. You know, I'm only playing. It may not be for you, but I don't know why. Okay, let's see here. Now, it kind of came back with the same type of list. I could do this. Where are you at? Let me pull that over just a little bit. I'll share what I'm reading, and it's going to look weird because I'll be looking off screen while it's there. I could. No, I don't know how well. Hold on one second. Hold on, we're doing something. Calm down. All right, so if I put this over here on this side of the screen, then I put me on that side of the screen. That's better. And then I will, no, wait, what am I doing here? Oh, all right, here we go. Let's move me down. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of, well, I'll leave that. Tell your friends thing. Yeah, why not? Okay. All right. So now let me just reposition. What are you doing? See, this is why this doesn't work great. I can make it work better, but I'm not because I'm being just a little bit lazy. Or I can do it like this again. All right. I'll do this like I'll be on top of the screen thing. There we go. Then we'll move this over here. Wow, look at that. All right, we'll do it like that. Good enough. Good enough for now, kids. We ain't working on perfection. We're working on technology. Okay, let's take a look. Once again, my robot has put together this 50 time a list of 50 item time capsule of 1973, a mosaic world of world events, culture, science, politics, births, deaths, and iconic moments. Let's see what's happened since 52 years ago. Global and political events, the European Economic Community, later the core of today's EU, expanded to include the UK, Ireland, and Denmark on January 1st, 1973. January 27th, the Paris Peace Accords were signed. We talked about that. Former U.S. President Lyndon Baines Johnson died in the same 72-hour period following a second inauguration of Richard Nixon, a historically dramatic cluster of events. Well, it's fun. That's kind of interesting. For Nixon took office, Johnson checked out. Well, that's one way to that's one way to stop an investigation. For many in the U.S., 1973 marked a sharp economic turning point, the end of post-World War II economic boom, and the beginning of what became a decade of economic malaise, inflation, recession, instability. The petrodollar Put it all together, kids. I can only help you so much. The OPEC oil embargo. Gosh, man, the stories of the early 70s going into the mid 70s when it came to like the lines at the gas stations. We can complain at the pump all day long, but we don't have to roll up in their shotgun wearing a pistol and showing up on whatever particular day we were assigned to get gas. And one of the things I always found fascinating when studying that subject is that okay, the gas lines were happening. You had to be there on your certain day. Normally, I think it was determined by a license plate number. I think that is how they rolled with it. But you actually had armed dudes, man, and they weren't exactly like today's security guards where they had cute little uniforms and all that, kind of looking like a cop, but not a cop. But here's the kicker. They look more they were like gunslingers, man. They had their gun on their hip, bro. And but I always found it interesting because you see these pictures of long lines of people to get gas. And I'm thinking, how much gas did you use in those big ass land yachts to go get gas during the shortage? I can only imagine how frustrating that really was. I've heard reports. Let's see, in Chile, what did they do? On September 11th, in Chile in 1973, a military coup overthrew President Salvador, what the hell's his name? Allende, leading to a new government under Augusto Pinochet. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. And man, does it sound cool. All right, so the United States political rights and societal shifts. Oh, here we go. The Watergate scandal escalated, and we've been stuck with that phrase ever since. A key burglar confessed to a cover up, triggering resignations of major White House aides, eventually undermining public trust in government. And yeah, what a coup that was. The Roe versus Wade decision, we've already touched that, and that's gone now. The landmark conservation law of the Endangered Species Act was signed at the end of 73. Maybe that's why I showed up when I did. I wanted to make sure they didn't take me out before I got started. The American Indian movement, along with Native American activists, occupied Wounded Knee, South Dakota, to protest treaty violations and historic injustices against indigenous peoples. Interesting. Science, technology, and exploration. Okay, here's what I gotta say. Skylab, we touched that one. Oh, on April 6th of 1973, did you know the spacecraft Pioneer 11 was launched? A mission that would later journey into the outer solar system. Huh. So we had those little trash cans shooting up into orbit. Now look at what we got. 1973, scientists discovered comet Cahotek. Cahotek. See, I think this is why they like with Three Eye Atlas. They just went, dude, just call it Three Eye Atlas instead of Comet Cahotek. Cahotek. I wonder if people were freaking out over Comet Cahotic, like they are over Three Eye Atlas, which to me is still one of the goofiest, funniest things I think I've ever heard of when it comes to it's an alien, man. You don't know. And if it is, it was the slowest moving alien invasion in the history of what could be an alien invasion. I mean, really, it's been months and months and months, and we still haven't seen anything other than that's just another space rock. Uh, Oh, let's see here. The year also saw a very long total solar eclipse on June the 30th, one of the longest of the second millennium. Bet people freaked out about the whole and the skies will turn dark. See, nothing new under the sun, kids. The world of conservation advanced internationally. Yeah. We've done that. Sports. Well, now that was a little bit more. The endangered species of wild fauna and flora begins its journey towards protection of species worldwide. There we go. Which is that's a good thing, other than all the red tape, regulations, and policies that have been kind of morphed and manipulated over all these years. Sports milestones: the Miami Dolphins completed the only perfect undefeated season, 17-0, finishing with a Super Bowl 7 win. There you go. Congratulations. And I don't think they've even come close since. In tennis, the iconic Battle of the Sexes exhibition match took place between Billie Jean King, where she thumped Bobby Riggs, a milestone for women's sports and gender equality in athletics. I've always seen that particular piece of history with the Battle of the Sexes on the tennis court. I think as far as like, now think about that, where we are when it comes to like the transgender thing in sports. Huh. Damn, there is nothing new under the sun. It just kind of gets repackaged or reshaped. Other than at that time, we knew who the players were when it came to male and female. They agreed to do it on the court, and it was also tennis. So and and I don't think tennis attire has really changed in the past 52 years. But what do you think about that? For me, when I think about it, it's kind of funny that again, and Billie Jean King, she thumped Bobby, and he had it coming. He talked a lot of trash, so the over under was there. But also, I think of any sport that could be like one that you could have men and women going, head to head against one another. I think that was, all things considered, I think that's a fair matchup. Where versus like something um, like a box. I don't know, if I get you mad about this, get over yourself. But something like boxing or full contact, like football or powerlifting, things like that. And again, we're talking about peak athletes and what they do. We're not talking about just the average Joe and Jane. I'm sure there are plenty of ladies out there who have the ability to bench press a hell of a lot more than I do. And I own that. I ain't proud. Let's see here. Culture and entertainment and social life. What's happening here? Landmark Legal Research Service, LexisNexis Law. I like this. LexisNexis. That should be the name of a band. A big shift in how information was accessed presaging the digital database age. That's where it began. That is where Skynet started, kids. Now we know. April 3rd, the first handheld mobile phone we call Jiminy Crickets. So 52 years ago, the first mobile phone. Wow. Huh. There you go. Films and music in 1973 captured changing taste. Many movies and albums from them became cultural milestones. I'll bet you it's everything we're watching and listening now or has been rebooted. We're going to do a deep dive on that. 15 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour, it is like, what is the temperature? It said to drop. It's like, it's in the 20s. If you want to know, look it up. Anyway, I don't even know why I did a time check there. Habits. Habits. Anyway, let's see. 73 saw growing momentum in environmental awareness. And yeah, we're just going to skip all that. Nothing against the environment or awareness and things like that, but just, goodness gracious. 73 saw the births of many people who would later become influential in entertainment, sports, culture, and reflecting the future generations. And here I am, kids. Oh, now dig this. For privacy and policy, I won't list full names of private individuals or too many living people. But 1973 births cover a broad spectrum across the. What the hell kind of safeguard is that? People have been publishing like the birthdays and names of celebrities forever. It's a morning show staple and gimmick. That's dumb. Anyway, thanks for saving me from information, ChatGPT. Those losses in I wonder if we're going to. The year marked the passing or decline of various political eras, social norms, symbolically closing one chapter as new ones began. Again, they didn't name that. Who died? Well, we know Johnson did. I think they celebrated that one, but I ain't going to argue. 1973, the broader impact of global energy paradigm. With the oil embargo and rising energy prices, nations realized energy was a geopolitical weapon. Bang, bang. You think? The instability and economic strain contributed to the long-lasting inflation and recession cycles that defined much of the 1970s. And but yeah, duh. The end. Okay. Environmental. Okay. Yeah. You're repeating yourself. This is not helpful. Transition. Yeah. Blah blah. Why it still matters? Okay. Here's what the robot says. Geopolitical structure, blah. Okay, we were covering all this again. Now, but here's a snapshot. This is what happened when you were someone like me and born in 73. Global powers, societies are cutting along. Yeah, again, nothing new under the sun in 52 years except for nothing. I mean, ladies' hairstyles have changed. Hell, everybody's hairstyle changed now with the multicolors. But now what I do want to know is, okay, let's see. List the top 10 movies, music, and television. 1973. I may have just goofed that because, there it is. All right, let's see what they come up with on the robot. Again, the robot can be handy, even if it is redundant, but that's where logic works. Logic can play into redundancy. All right, we're connecting to app, and we're finding out. So I'll bet you when this thing populates, you're going to see a whole lot of stuff you're hearing right now. Okay, based on box office success, critical acclaim, and long-term cultural footprint. Number 1 film, The Exorcist. Huh, that's true. The Sting. Now, I don't see anybody really talking about The Sting anymore. The one with Robert Redford. Yeah, nobody's really talking about that one. American Graffiti. That one, it's kind of fallen, I think, out of the zeitgeist of conversation. Papillon, I don't even remember that one. The Way We Were, yep, gone. Magnum Force, I don't think they've done it, but that was like one of the first Dirty Harry. I thought it was the first, wasn't it? No, that was the sequel, the first sequel to Dirty Harry, Magnum Force. That was great. And that would be kind of depressing to see, I think, if they did a Dirty Harry sequel now, since the last one. The last one I remember, I can't remember the name of it, but I remember Guns N' Roses provided to the soundtrack on that. And that was like back in the 90s. Can you imagine? Excuse me. If we got a Dirty Harry sequel now, starring Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry. And then when you take the concept of Dirty Harry and then you mix in like what was it? El Torino, that flick with him where he's crusty old man. Get off my lawn or I'll blow your head off. That would be kind of interesting to see. Oh, let's see what was the other one. Live and Let Die, the first James Bond film of the 1970s. Huh? I don't remember that one. Robin Hood. There we go. Which one? Which Robin Hood? Was that the Disney? Let's go find out. I want to know. Hey, they always. Uh-oh. Something's happening with Wikipedia. We owe you an explanation. Please don't skip this 1 minute read. It's Thursday, December the 4th. I know. And this moment matters for Wikipedia because we haven't hit our goal yet. Oh, yeah. Well, good luck, buddy. Anyway, oh yeah, it's the Disney one. Okay, just wanted to clarify. So I have never lived in a world where the song Ootin' Ollie Golly What a Day wasn't a part of the American lexicon. Now that, my friends, is a blessing. So Robin Hood from Disney came out in 73. Paper Moon. I've heard about that, but I've never watched it. And Serpico. Now that one, wow, that's been and that one again, that one still gets the buzz talk in the world, so that's cool. Top music, Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd. Yep. Inner Visions from Stevie Wonder. That was a great album. Is a great album. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road from Elton John. Yeah. Quadrophenia, The Who. Okay. All right. Yeah, not that I don't know who that is, but okay. That one's just not as prominent. The Who themselves aren't nearly as prominent. Now, the Leonard Skinner album, Hello, they're still touring, even after a lot are gone. But it's the band, whatever. Let's Get It On from Marvin Gaye. That'll never go away. Call Me from Al Green. That's a good one. Catch a Fire, Bob Marley. That one, see, again, it's like Bob Marley. Bob Marley is an institution, a brand, and all of that, but not so much in the conversation anymore. Band on the Run from Paul McCartney and Wings. Can you imagine 52 years ago when Paul McCartney was doing the thing with Wings, post Beatles, and again, Paul's still here, and so is Ringo. John George, long gone. Huh. I guess maybe John and George should have ran a little more. Oh, that was terrible, Jim. Shame on you. The New York Dolls. That's such a landmark band that again, I don't feel they really get at this point, people get the major influence that they had in the world of like the whole glam rock that really did evolve into, well, inspired Kiss and the arena rock of the 70s. So that's kind of cool. So 73 is when the New York Dolls got their big push. Now, let's see here. Top television shows, things you most likely couldn't broadcast today. Show number one, of course, is All in the Family. Yep, that would cause a panic. The Waltons, God love the Waltons, but man, I always found it was one of the most boring shows in the world. But now, even as I'm older, it's still boring, but I get it now. Sanford and Son, again, another show that I don't think could make it in the prime time lineup now. MASH, never stopped forever. And it was one of those shows that as a kid, it bored me to tears. Again, but it wasn't made for kids, right? Not that it was just all groany, but it was not great. Now, the older I got, like into my teen years, and catch some of the shows in syndication, I found the humor. I got it. I liked the flick. I didn't because I'd never seen the flick. It was later when I finally watched the movie that the TV series was based off of, and really enjoyed that. Hawaii Five O. The biggest thing there is that huge theme. See, I just pulled that up totally from Recall. That's programming, and I never even really watched the show. If you're a Gen X baby boomer, you know that song. I wonder if I don't think we're ever going to have that again, though. That's kind of a bummer because there really aren't TV themes anymore, let alone TV shows. And like even like in the influencer space and world, there's nothing. The Joe Rogan's intro is probably one of the most annoying things ever to me because you got the little bongo drum riff and then the voiceover doing it. That's not fun. That's not lame. Maud, what a great show Maud was. Not because it was just so great, but because it was bold. I do not remember it back in the time frame, obviously. But catching episodes like in syndication all these years later, B. Author playing Maud as such a strong feminist woman to really push that ideal. She was such a cranky hag. And then that transitioned into the Golden Girls, where she was also a cranky hag. And then she showed up, well, before then, showing up on the Star Wars Holiday Special because of Maud. and she was a cranky. B. Author is got to be the most celebrated cranky old hag in the history of television. Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour on CBS. Now that one definitely is still part because I mean the one song, the big song, you know it. I got you, babe. I got you. I got you. You got me. I got you. But that was forever. You know, of course, Sonny died quite many years ago in that skiing accident where he smacked into a tree, and Cher is still just Cher. I don't know. I don't know if she's actually. I know she's popped up to comment on certain things from time to time, but I don't know of her having actually released any new music in a long time. I'd be kind of curious to see if she still got her pipes. Because again, it's one of those things. It's like when you go back and you watch some of these old clips on YouTube, go like on a binge watch. At least for me, anyway. It's been cool because it gives me the opportunity to introduce Caitlin to music of different times. Again, we've got recorded history of things, man. How truthful? I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. But the truth is that it exists, and so you can show this younger generation those performances. And you know, a lot of the things that I see looking back at the old variety television shows that populated prime time, that I still find completely fascinating is how much work was put into the numbers on there, especially like the music numbers. You got to figure these people were working on fast schedules, man. And you would have someone like, all right, Cher show, and then you would have the Jackson 5 show up, and they'd have to work out their number within like 4 days from like whenever you set the show and then rehearsal till you do the show, right? And get it in the can. Because by then nobody was really doing live. But the point is, though, that's a whole lot of precision you had to put into this thing. And most of them did it very, very well. And it's such a salute to talent and persistence and talent. Did I say talent? And it was awesome. It really is. And Cher, it's like I never gave her the credit that I think that I felt now I feel that she deserved in that. Because again, I mentioned her because she had like everybody on that show that she had the biggest names at the time, and they all performed some really fun acts throughout the show, the music stuff, the comedy skits, all that. And it was great. And she rolled with everybody. I can't think of any particular performance, or they deleted them, any particular performance where she just didn't shine, even though, you know, she didn't hog it either, which was very impressive. Anyway, long gone are those days. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, always, that one was always a little fun, and that's where now that she's so super celebrated, Betty White, and I mean she's got her own postage stamp, right? And she lived for almost forever, but that kind of clocked her out. But at the same time, Betty White, our generation was more familiar with Betty White on the Golden Girls than anything else, where she was sweet, innocent Rose. And but everything else prior to that, Betty White didn't play the sweet, innocent Rose character. Hers was always a wee bit on the slutty side, and she did it well. So think of the shock. I mean, that really is kind of funny. It's like if all you know is the Golden Girls, but then you get introduced to show like her character on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, or even in Mama's Family. Good God, I'm such a product of the 20th century. 52 years later. But when you watch her performances there, she's a little slutty, right? So, I mean, that's like such a hard jet. But she had the same hairstyle. Isn't that weird? Huh. Just not thought about that. And Canon. Now, that was a big show that's just kind of totally fallen off the pop culture radar. But it was a good show. Wasn't bad. Let's see. Oh, let's see the top song. That's what I was wanting, not just the albums. Yeah, show me. Show me, robot. Show me. There we go. See, this is a search engine. More than anything else, the AI chatbots, the large language models, they're search engines, and they're good. They're really good for the most part. Oh, let's see. Now, the top songs of 1973. Are you having fun with this? I'm kind of curious. This is something I don't really, I do care. I'm not wasting your time. So if you're sticking around, this is on you, and I appreciate your time. But I'm enjoying this. This is so funny. It's like that reinvigorating part of remembering. Now, I mind you, back in my radio days, I would never riff like this for 28 minutes. Good God, this would be at best 28 seconds worth of crap that I threw out there in between records. But I don't have to worry about that now because I ain't actually watching the clock except out of habit because I am programmed. Anyway, let's get back to it. Biggest songs of 1973. Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. Tony Orlando and Dawn. Of course, Tony was a huge part of the Branson landscape for many, many, many years. Killing Me Softly with a Song from Roberta Flack. That one, again. And that's the thing, think about. 52 years ago is when these songs debuted. 52 years ago. And you probably, even you younger folks, I know there's only a few of you in my audience, but you guys will probably know all these songs. Bad Bad Leroy Brown from Jim Croce, Crocodile Rock from Elton John. No doubt you know that one if you hang around our circle, because Caitlin's Bo Aiden can knock that one out of the park. That's actually I think that's one of the first songs I heard him sing. And he blew me away, and that's when he really got my attention, and I guess Caitlin's too all this time later. But yeah, so definitely part of it. Horse with No Name, America. Good song, still floats around, but that one always got on my nerves. Yeah, I've been through the desert outdoors. Yeah, no. Oh, You're So Vain from Carly Simon. No, I'm not. Shut up, you are. Let's Get It On from Marvin Gaye. And boy, there's a joke in there I'm not going to touch. Living for the City from Stevie Wonder. Good song, but not one of my favorite Stevie tunes. Michael Nesmith, formerly of the Monkees, Joanne. That was a good song that I don't think a lot of folks remember, really. Yeah, I mean, because again, Michael Nesmith's Solar, that's pretty. This is like a deep track that you pulled up there, Robot. Good on you. The Spinners, could it be I'm falling in love? See, that's one of those tunes of the times and sounds of the times that when I go back and listen to, or it pops up on the radio or wherever, that it is so that mellow 70s sound that I don't like. I mean, I can listen to it and I can appreciate it, but I don't like it. It feels weird. I don't know exactly why that particular sound triggers something in me that just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe I should do like on Toys or Totems 2 Electric Boogaloo when I revisit a different perspective, because like I say, the book is not just about toys. It's about the things that are those subconscious things inside of us that trigger different emotions in us, good, bad, and ugly. So you got that. But that sound, that early 70s J.C. Penney Sears catalog model look and feel drives me nuts. It just grates at me for some reason. I don't know why. Speaking of which, let's move along. It's 8:31. It is a cloudy day out there. Some sprinkles. Looking at the weather forecast, it does look like, hey man, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of snow. Possible icy spots tonight. I don't know 100% for sure because I'm not a weather guy. My buddy Brandon D. Ruley, he's the emergency guy who knows how to handle those things. Stormtrack 360. Check him out. Download the app, and yeah, that's right. If you're up here in this area in the 72601 to Branson, the 65616, and I speak in numbers. Weird. But be sure to download the app, save the website, join his Facebook page, group, and everything else he's got out there, because it is a very valuable local service where you can get local updates from a real human being. And that's just important. Anyway, it's cold out there. It's cloudy. There's a little bit of snow here and there. But today, being my birthday, and if you care, I mean, this is the party, man. You're invited. You're here. Hello. And we're partying. We're having a great time. We're going to party like it's 1973. In that, today, I wanted to share a part from the book. Again, because the reason that I'm doing this with the book is because the book, everything in it helped me on so many levels. The idea in and of itself kind of pulled me out of a dark spot because it's been a rough year. But then also, though, the things that I uncovered and I unearthed were really good grounding points. And again, this isn't just about toys. It's about you personally. The book may have my name on the cover because damn it, I worked on it. I'm proud of that. But it really is your book at the end of the day if you pay attention and you open up to it. Because again, you'll be surprised. Anyway, we're going to go right to the end of the book because this is where it all ties together. No spoilers here. It's just the end of the book. And most people don't read anyway. So I wrote a book. If that was a true business model, I'd be a sucker, man, because it's just not there. Other than it's a great way for me to get to say hi to folks. Yeah, I wrote a book. That's what I do. Anyway, we're going to chapter 15. Stick around. You're really going to benefit from this. Chapter 15, we went through the other 14 chapters of the book, kind of exploring the whys of and the hows and how you could benefit from the stuff around you that you love, that inspires you and makes you feel like a better human being. Chapter 15 wraps it all up. So I'm just going to read you the whole thing. It's only a few pages. That's the thing. This book is a short, quick read by design. You don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to waste. So, this is the thing. I like to punch it in. Chapter 15, The Shrine is the Mirror. I should have done an on-screen thing with that. Anyway, take one last look at your shelf, not with critique, not with judgment, just presence. That's not clutter. It's not just plastic. That's not a shrine to childhood. It's a mirror. Every figure, every playset, every bend in the cape or scuff on the boot, it's all part of the story. Your story. You didn't just keep these things because you couldn't let go. You kept them because they were part of how you held on to yourself, to your values, to the spark. That's an important word. And now, as you stand here, whatever age, 52, whatever stage, a pretty good one, you can see it more clearly. You were never just playing, you were training. You were forming a language. You were shaping a worldview. You were building a life. And even if the world didn't always understand it or respect it or make room for it, that doesn't make it less sacred. It makes it yours. So here's how we close. Look at your shelf, then look at yourself. The difference isn't as wide as you think. The totems you've carried, the ones that chose you, and the ones you now choose, now you choose. They reflect the best parts of you, your imagination, your resilience, your tenderness, and your hope. And somewhere out there, someone is watching you, a child, a friend, a stranger, a younger version of yourself, waiting for proof that it's okay to stay lit up. You are the totem. You are the example. You are the permission. So keep collecting, keep remembering, keep becoming. Because the spark never dies. It only waits for you to remember how to hold it again. Let's play. Let's teach. Let's pass it on. And that pretty much sums up everything that I was going for and everything I've ever done. Really and truly, I put it all right here for you. The final quote of the book, that is my favorite. Absolutely. The beginning quote is like number two. But number one here, that I'm about to read, they're actually very, 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 very close, right? But the final quote of the book, the pull quote from a very inspirational person for me was from Alan Watts. Uh, that again, one of those things. He was known, but not super known apparently, because he's come back into the conversation by way of YouTube stuffs and the god awful guru self help stuff that I think demeans his legacy. But thankfully, they do use it and put it out there so you can learn more about people like Alan Watts and understand that conversations like this occurred back then that kind of just gets scammy, spammy, and trolly, and it sucks. But anyway, this is a great quote from Alan Watts, a philosopher who was one of the first people to bring the idea of Zen Buddhism into the American culture. That's pretty cool. He's a British fellow. Now, this is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. That, Alan Watts, is a philosophy that I have held on to for a very long time. And I don't let go of it. Even when life was rocky, I wasn't so well defined in what I was trying to do with a book, a product, a service, or excuse me, a book. The book is the product, excuse me, product, service, and project, right? Before I defined it so well, but that's always been the thing. It's like when I started doing the blog, jimstoybox.com, way back, I think it was 2010, I kicked it off. And my final closing line, and still to this day, is now go play. And that's my hook for that. I don't much care to use it in other things, but in the written form, I like it. And it really it personifies to me after we have our talk and our conversation, or back then reviews and other silly things. Well, it's planted something in your head. What I want you to do, go play, go play. Just like with this podcast, I don't say it here, but I could, I guess. But no need to wear it out. But yeah, go play. Once we're done, go play. That's why that exists. I think you probably figured that out. Anyway, where are we? 38 minutes of the 8 o'clock hour on my birthday, man. Coffee's good. The girls got me my favorite. My favorite as far as like the K cups out there, and I am totally, completely down. I'm not a coffee snob, but I really like the Great Value brand at Walmart's caramel pecan. I like it. It's like it is my favorite. I have to like not overdo it because I really, really like it. I like the. I don't never want to do the frou coffees. I don't want anything else in it. I just want it nice and black coffee. Um, I didn't want to go all in because I would wreck my keyboard. You understand? Um, But yeah, it's my favorite. What's your favorite? Tell me. I want to. I can't promise you I'll get you any, but I'll be mindful. And if we do have coffee, I'll make a note. But anyway, so this has been fun little jaunt through the era that has been from 1973 to 2025 for your old buddy Jimbo that may have sparked some memories in you or may have let you on to something that you didn't even know existed or you didn't care. Either way, it was fun for me and it's my birthday. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to close it up. I got to get back to work on some things that are kind of important, at least to me and a couple other people. But you need to do something important today too, for you, for your family, for your friends, for your community, and enjoy yourself. You can totally do that. You absolutely, I give you 100% permission. 100% permission. For what it's worth, if I were Prince of the Planet, I can assure you, I would be like a daily mandate. Do something good. And just do it. Have some fun. Enjoy the energy. Connect with the things inside of you that you may have forgotten. Remember it. Again, my book can help you with that. If you're willing to take the time to just read, or the audiobook is going to come. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm reading the damn thing. I should just record it, right? But the audiobook version will be coming. And I like audiobooks myself a lot anyway. So I'm kind of, why have I not done it yet? Oh, yeah, I'm busy with other stuff, but I need to prioritize that. Totally talking into the void right now. I know it. 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Go have a great day, everybody. Let me get the end screen thing so this thing can buffer out. Why am I leaning? I got Superman in the way. If you saw my the little video that the Knock Knock app animated of the photo for today with Flip, yeah, he's in the way. I didn't want to move him because I like the shot. I enjoyed when I set that up. And then the photo, if you see it though, that is from December 7th, 1987, years ago on this day. Or excuse me, no. I was 7. And you can do the math. I'm not ready for the math. What was that? 42 years? It was a long damn time ago. I can't do the math yet. Yeah, damn the computers. But anyway, but yeah, no, that was my birthday party there. The Superman cake made by the Kroger Bakery using the Wilton cake kit. Because God love the bakers in my family. I didn't have any. It's like my mom and my aunt at the time. And my younger aunt, she's only 3 years older than me. And she's more like a sister. And so she wasn't really down with doing the baking stuff. But anyway, but she does now. But then not so much. But anyway, but that Superman is so funny. And the reason I put that up and I shared that is because when my mom unearthed that Polaroid a few years back and sent it to me, it really locks in that philosophy. I mean, let me get that quote right. I meant to pull that up because I want to make sure I get it just right. Because it is very true. Well, it was for me in my case. Let's see here. Let's see. Source. The full quote. Oh, the full quote. There we go. See, that wasn't silent. You heard the tick tack and clacking of the keyboards. Oh my God. Robot, you should know, but I'm having to give it a little bit more details. Uh, let's see if we can pull it up. Come on. Why does it say it's connecting to the app? That's weird. That's like a new thing this thing's doing. Are you freaking kidding me? All right, we're gonna have to school the robot. I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Go Google. Find the source of this partial Aristotle. There it is. Say you suck, robot, but Google knocked it out of the park. Anyway, was Aristotle right? Okay, now here's the quote. And again, it's like it really drives home. And with that image right there, for me, it really locks it in. Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man. And that is so true in my case. But something you might reflect on too. Show me the child is 7, or until he is 7, and I'll show you the man. And that's why it's so important with the little ones out there, from birth to 7. Nurture them. Nurture them. Pull back on just saying no. Get more creative. When you have to stop them from doing something dumb, that instead of just doing the standard no, Davis, explain why. And they go to reach something hot. Yeah, get them out of there quick so they don't burn themselves, but don't just go, no. Say, Rather, that's going to burn. Your skin will bubble off your skeleton. Don't do it. That may be a terrifying visual for a 3-year-old, but you know what? It works, it sticks, and it's better than just a no because they have reasoning skills at that point. And that's what you want to embed in a child. But then also pay attention to the toys in which they do play with. Because think about it. Seriously, think about this. When you watch a kid, and if you really dive in and remember the kid in you, when you watch a kid in your circle, what they play with, that normally comes about not so much by design. It's sort of like, all right, you get the kid the big expensive present, right? And they open it and they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they play with the box, right? Because the box has more resonance for them than that particular toy. They're not being ungrateful little jerks. Some are, but not always. But it's not about that toy that resonates with them. It's that box because the box has more imagination, creativity for them, right? But sometimes that one toy is the one they gravitate to no matter what. It's that thing. For me, it was Superman. And there's my proof right there in that picture. If you look on the Facebook page, you see it. And there's something that is happening there that admit it. How many of you, how far back can you actually remember? Right? How far back can you actually remember? I know at best I got a couple little flashes of memory that I could pull up right before kindergarten, but not much. Now, I kind of pick up at kindergarten. That's where like my memory bank starts, my data set about kindergarten. There's a couple little flashes prior to that, but not much, not of any real significance. But I do know that that Superman has been with me the whole damn time. Not that particular one, but you know what I'm saying? But the imagery and the story and the feel of Superman has been something that has connected with me forever. And that wasn't for any reason. I wasn't trying to please anyone. I'm still not. Now look at the little ones in your life. Look at yourself. Look at your spouse. Look at your friends. Look at them and just kind of observe and think about that. Because I bet you, I'd almost bet you, someone who's like totally obsessed with a particular sports team, a particular hobby, a particular activity, that I'll bet you, if you could time travel some way, maybe a photo album or nowadays videos, and you could try time travel and look at the 5-year-old version, you're going to see a lot of those same things today if they haven't covered it up. Okay, here's the thing. Now, and I mentioned this in the book. One of the things that I brought into the family flair and circle whenever Alicia and I got together every Christmas and birthdays, and also any other time that it strikes the notion and I happen to catch something. When I could find something that I'm aware of was like a favorite thing when my in-laws or friends were kids, excuse me, and I can surprise them with it, I do it because I know for a fact once they get their hands or just their eyeballs on it, it's going to spark something that even in the darkest times is going to remind them of a great feeling in time. And then hopefully they hold on to it. Sometimes it can be a little detrimental because it's like the ultimate dopamine hit and rush, and you get a little addicted to it. I cover that in the book too. But that's the whole point. Is like when you reconnect with those things, from memories you don't know you have. It's the subconscious. And that's why all of this matters. Because when you're from birth to 7 and all those fundamental years of all the basic steps, if you say you didn't learn anything, yeah, you did. You learned how to walk, you learned how to talk, you learned how to feed yourself, you learned how to tie your shoes. Those are monumental tasks that you conquered right there early on. And you did it. How cool is that? But you may not remember. Do you remember taking your first bite of solid food? Probably not. If you do, hey, awesome. Do you remember taking your first step? I do not. Maybe you do. Do you remember the first time you saw light of day? Man, then you're one of those super rare ones, okay? But the point is, in those first 7 years of life, there are so many things that are packed into our little evolving brains, the little box, the hard drive, man, there's like sucking up all the storage stuff. And it's all there with purpose and reason. And when you can deep dive into the things that are stored up in there that you do not remember and do not recall, but if you look around you, you're going to see the things reflected from your subconscious. and then you dive just a little bit deeper, that doesn't take a lot of work, you'll be able to connect with that again because it obviously mattered enough to get locked in at the subconscious level. And when today's day and grind, and I don't mean by 2025 today, I mean right now in your moment right now, when you take the time to look around, assess, see what you got or what you don't got, and pull that back up, there's already a wiring system inside of your brain box that's going to fire up something that's probably going to be pretty positive and pretty powerful. It can go the other way too, but I'm not talking about that right now. I want you to focus on this is the Christmas season. This is the happy, joyous time. That's what I was taught for 52 years, and we're going to keep it that way. But do that, try it. Anyway, buy my book. Why? Because it'll help you guide you through that. And there's also like the digital version, which is super cheap. I prefer the paperback. I recommend the paperback, not because it costs more, but because this is the type of book, and this is by design, that like I put the appendix in the back that has journal pages. Not a whole lot, just a few. But I want you to make it yours because the story told here is yours. You just haven't written it down. That's going to help you do that, I promise. And who knows, and hopefully so, that you take the time to write a book yourself. Not necessarily to publish to the world and become a rich and famous author, and everybody's like, oh my God, but to have a record for future generations to know more about you. How cool would that be? Seriously, I would love, 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 love to have access to a journal or diary or book from my great grandparents, my great great grandparents, and so on, as far back as we could go. How cool would that be? Because the only people on the planet who really have that type of thing are the royals, the blue bloods, the bungholes who repressed a lot of education and teaching so the commoners couldn't do what they were doing because they were special. No, they weren't. They were inbred, man. Good God. Anyway, let's do this. Let's wrap it up. I want you to go have a fantastic Thursday. Celebrate my birthday by being nice to yourself and to someone else. Period. You can totally do it. And if you really want to be nice, get in my book as a Christmas present. Oh my God, it's such a shameless plug. Shut up. You do the same if you were to talk about it. Have a good one. See you guys in the morning. 8 o'clock. Coffee will be fresh.